Anomalisa. This is one of those movies you might have heard of thanks to the massive recognition it got among awards. During that time, you always see this film get nominated for Best Animated Feature next to films like Shaun the Sheep movie and Inside Out. It does have quite a fascinating history of how it started, from a series of plays written by Charlie Kaufman himself, to a successful Kickstarter campaign as a 40-minute animated short, to finally the 80-minute stop-motion feature that became the toast of many festivals and caught the eye of Paramount Pictures to distribute it at the literal end of 2015 for a limited time, with a wide release shortly afterwards. So would anyone have any trouble if I could count this as a 2016 film, since technically most people saw it after 2015 and, well, anyways. Will Anomalisa bring out some true adult emotion onto stop motion? Or is this just filled with nothing but Oscar buzz? Let's find out! The story. Describing the story of this movie is rather easy. It's simply about a lonely guy in a hotel room for one night, and then he meets a girl. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. But then you go see it and discover something that is so complex that you need some time just to think about what you've experienced. It even took me a while to think about what I went through with this. But then the answer came quickly, as the movie's goal is to be real. No, it's not to tell some big tale or to convey some nice looking animation. It's all to present the real emotion of loneliness. The constant need to fill that gap with someone else in order to no longer feel like something's always missing, while others who don't fit your criteria just feel like the same annoying background noise. It's driven both by raw human emotion and characters, and the fact that it's Michael thrown in to be the lonely man, that's where the drama really kicks in. Imagine a guy who has a pretty good life, a successful author, has a wife and kid back in LA, he's pretty much a man who has everything, yet he feels like he has none of it, since nothing can bring him joy and the only thing in his mind is his ex and how she became an absolute missed opportunity for him. So imagine how someone like Lisa steps in and immediately feels like not only that the gap is filled, but he can also get a new lease on life. The only minor issue I could find is that it is possible that some could find that the tempo of this movie is rather slow, especially when Michael has to talk to someone who is not Lisa. Sometimes it can work, and it can bring a lot to the table, like his chat with his ex, or it could end up like a dumb waste of time, like when Michael talked to that weirdo next to him on the plane. Yeah, it does convey the feeling of talking to someone you don't want to talk to, but either way, it just ends up being annoying.
Sorry, I grabbed your hand.
It's okay.
It's a reflex, but I don't like to fly.
I said it's okay. You can let go now, though.
Some people may look at this and think that it's a story of love, but in reality, this is nothing but a story of the absence of love. The animation. Let me just get this out of the way first. The execution of the animation itself is fantastic. It's clear that the crew is consisted of highly talented artists that are able to move the characters in a beautifully realistic way and design them to make them look natural and real, but not too much to the point that they look creepy. So, with that said and done, I want to ask the huge question regarding the medium of animation. Can you just animate real life? Of course, we've seen it commonly make the extraordinary, but can it be able to portray what's already around us and still make it look fantastic to watch? Actually, yeah, think about it. There is only a handful of other animated films that try to convey realism in their style. In fact, most of these films are too afraid to just make the ordinary and feel like they must throw in something of fantasy in order to stay away from being boring. So, when something like this comes along, it feels both familiar and new at the same time. It's like looking at a painting of a landscape. What we're seeing already exists, and chances are you might have already seen it, but we're looking at it through the perspective of the artist. And that's what makes this look fascinating. It's real life told through high-quality stop-motion animation. However, there's always that one person who will come up and ask, why not just film it in live action instead? Well, Yeah, it is a good question, and it is true that if there's no answer, then the animation becomes completely pointless. Luckily, in this film, there is a point to why there is the stop motion. It's all to help convey metaphors to Michael's loneliness. As the movie progresses, the reason for the stop motion becomes clearer.
Each person you speak to has had a childhood. Each has a body. Each body has aches.
If there is one problem with the animation, is that you can clearly see the lines in their faces. The ones that separate the sections that the animators can switch out the mouths and eyebrows to switch in different expressions and stuff like that. Sure, the movie had that one small clever idea with it, but I still wonder why they couldn't just edit those out like what Leica does to their stop motion films. Sure, it would be extra work, but it would have made the faces extra smooth. While mainstream animation tries to run away from reality, the animation here not only embraces it, but it's able to use it to its full potential. The characters. As it is a movie that goes into real emotion, this needs to feature some characters that are as real. And luckily, they might as well be real. Like I said before, Michael is a reputable man with everything set for a good life. He's a successful self-help author. He has a wife and kid. He lives in LA. He seems to be doing fine for himself, but he feels absolutely empty. It's like nothing can satisfy him or make him feel happy, and everything around him just feels the same. All Michael ever wants is just something new to happen. Sure, the answer is another woman, but what he demands is something to completely change the course of his mundane life. That would take the form of Lisa, who is actually a fan of Michael's, but she's more insecure about herself, since her friend Emily is known to be the more outgoing and hotter one. So imagine her surprise that this man comes in to say that she's somehow special.
I think you're extraordinary.
Why?
I don't know yet. It's just obvious to me that you are.
But after seeing this movie, there's actually another character that seems more fascinating than both the main ones. Okay, maybe more fascinating is a bit much to say, but at least equal to Michael. And that's literally everybody else. As the movie progresses, you'll notice how there's something that connects with all of them. At first, you'll find that some of the voices sound the same. But then you realize, wait a minute, they're voiced by the same guy, Tom Noonan. Wait a minute, Tom is voicing everybody that's not Michael or Lisa, including the women. Wait a minute, they all have the same face! What the fridge? It becomes weirder after each discovery, but it all completely makes sense. Think about it. What Michael considers undesirable just ends up sounding and looking the exact same to him. He doesn't care about them personally, so they're no different than the rest. That's why Lisa stands out among them. He sees her true face and voice, and for him, she is absolutely unlike anyone he has ever met. Don't get me wrong though, some of the others do stand out as interesting characters as well, like Emily and Michael's ex, Bella. But with just Michael, Lisa, and a whole bunch of Toms, there is no other way that these characters can end up feeling so human and so real in both their depth and their desires. Who knew that it would take an adult animated feature to perfectly portray such raw human emotion? Anomalisa is a hauntingly beautiful portrayal of loneliness and realism told through a fascinatingly deep story, high-class down-to-earth stop-motion animation, and characters that feel as real as the emotions they convey. This may not be for those who demand a faster tempo or want more pizzazz in their films, but for those who want something that's more real than a live-action movie, thought-provoking, and would challenge the way you think of the world around you, then this is a must-watch. Like what Wes Anderson did with Fantastic Mr. Fox, Anomalisa gives a nice welcoming to the industry from a prominent Hollywood auteur like Charlie Kaufman, and for that, it easily gets itself the AniMat's seal of approval. And as it is prominently shown at the awards, maybe it'll win some more. Actually, no, that's a lie. Inside Out wins. Inside Out wins everything that says best animated feature. If those three words are there, then it belongs to Inside Out. Pixar just way too OP.